All right. Well, welcome to the initial Win the Third podcast. That's our working title right now.
Yeah, working title.
Working title right now, brought to you by Financial Providence Group. I'm here with four-time state champ, four-time national champ. So two-time world champ? One-time world champ?
Yeah.
Still pretty good. One-time world champ.
Yeah.
Now one of the coaches at the RTC, your own wrestling program. One of the just iconic names in Ohio wrestling. Logan Stieber is going to join me here for this. So excited to do this, man?
Yeah, I'm excited. I love talking wrestling, and I love the Buckeyes. So
yeah.
This will be fun.
So let's start by kind of, we're about in the midway point of the season right now. I think it's safe to say that the season started off with a little bit of turmoil and kind of some ups and downs. You had, Kyle Snyder leaving. Well, I mean, let's kind of start from the beginning. It looked like with the Olympic red shirts that Penn State might take and that Iowa might take, that Ohio State had kind of a nice chance to be a title contender and might have had like a little bit of an easier path than they've had in years before. And then some of those red shirts don't happen. Spencer Lee's wrestling now for Iowa. Then you get Kyle Snyder leaving and Kirk Levitt leaving with him, and then some injuries to the Buckeyes, and really kind of to start the season a little bit of turmoil. I mean, kind of talk about how that was in the team.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few challenges. I think with our team, it's a young team, so we thought that maybe if everything lined up well, then we would have a chance. But we still had to. I guess they still had to build the young guys up.
Yeah.
But the guys have been good. The guys have been good. They're extremely close. And I've been, I came in 2010, and this is one of the closest, if not the closest teams I've been a part of, and everyone's really clicking. So it's fun to watch from the outside point of view. And, it's exciting. I mean, it's, sure it was challenging right away, but man, they've really come together and, had a great weekend last weekend, and, things are starting to click.
Yeah, I mean, like from a fan's point of view, I think everyone just kind of hit the panic button, and everybody's like, oh my God, we've got this hole in the lineup and this hole in the lineup, and now this guy's leaving, and then, guys that are coming in, and it just, it seemed like, I mean, obviously I know from football, everything always seems like chaos on the outside.
Yeah.
Inside, things are a lot different, so I'm sure that's the way it seemed inside the wrestling room too, but I mean, just the general, how this team is now kind of gelled to, again, being a top 5 ranked team, knocking off Arizona State, which is a huge win for them in a dual meet. Some of the guys like Rocky Jordan, moving weight classes and, winning a wrestle off. And then, Caleb Romero really coming into his own and making huge strides from last year. And then that's kind of forcing Rocky into a different position. And then, I mean, obviously, Gary Traub coming in at heavyweight and the injuries there. I mean, it seems like it's been so much turmoil, but now it's at a point where the team is really kind of set and starting to gel and can look forward to getting, finding their place in where the national rankings are.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're seeing is progression. I think the coaches have done a really, really good job with the guys, and I think that we get used to the stars that are ready right away.
Yeah.
People who come in and
win
the title.
Let's be frank. We've been spoiled. I mean, we had you, we had Nathan, we had Bo, we had Kyle. I mean, you had guys that came in and were just immediate national title contenders from the day they stepped onto campus.
Right.
I mean, Sammy Sazon is projected to be that guy. Mm-hmm. But, talking to some of the former alumni, we were as fans spoiled. Yeah. I mean, you guys had a unbelievable run there of 5 or 7 years, where it was almost like what we see with Penn State wrestling. I mean, it was that type of run with those guys coming in. So maybe it's kind of the fans bringing them back to reality a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's good that the fans, hold us to a high standard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 15 years ago, you didn't see the freshmen, coming in and winning right away, and while we still want those guys, it's good to see our guys like Caleb and Rocky and Ethan. Kind of the progression of, okay, I'm a starter, make the nationals. Round of 12, close to All-American, high All-American, national title. So that's kind of that's a former progression, and I think that like
that's the normal path that people take.
and you get spoiled with all these stars, which is great, because the stars are important, but I think you're seeing the coaching staff, doing a very good job, and the guys believing in it, and it doesn't always, work like this. But I mean, look at Caleb. I mean,
Yeah.
and Rocky's looking better, and sometimes it just takes time. So, yeah, I'm really proud of how they've done, and just again, it's been fun to watch. So,
I mean, talk us through just how those guys go through, preparing. I mean, and getting into a lineup and breaking into a lineup. I mean, obviously, like we said, I mean, you were a national title winner. You're as a freshman, redshirt freshman. You had that hand injury, I think, your freshman year. But then, these guys and what they go through just kind of on a daily basis of grinding, because it's not like football. It's not like everyone knows those star recruits coming in and then they make an impact somewhere. Some guys, they disappear for a year or two and they're just, wrestling the open tournaments, and all of a sudden they're coming back and they're trying to make an impact and going places and doing things and like Caleb and making an impact on the team where now, people are looking at him as a All-American possibly.
Yeah, I mean, the redshirt year, the coaches make a decision in what we've done lately, and what I like that they've done is they wrestle the best guy.
Mm-hmm.
So unless it's very close and one guy is going to be, you think it's going to be an All-American, it's like when you're ready to wrestle, because you don't know how many years you're going to get.
Yeah.
So the guys who aren't competing in the starting lineup, they're going to open tournaments, every week, every other week, trying to get 30 matches in, and it's just helping our guys train. And when you have stuff to train for, or you have a goal, if I'm a backup and my goal is to get Sammy Sazon to win the title, then you work harder.
Yeah.
Rather than, okay, I don't have to wrestle the Nationals until 2021. That's kind of hard to think about. It's a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, these guys just putting together goals in the short term to help them just prepare, because it goes quick. And soon it'll be January 20.
Yeah. And talk about, the Ohio RTC. I mean, for a lot of the guys that don't know how important and how big the impact is for that, to have guys like Nathan Tomasello still in the room, Miles Martin still in the room, working with these guys.
Yeah, so Nate and
you still in the room.
Nate and Miles, and we have a couple other RTC guys in the room every day training with the college guys, which is awesome, and it helps them out. I mean, you can't go many places and have someone who's done what Nate's done, what Miles done, and wrestling with them right away as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. So we're seeing RTCs, the emergence of them, and it's really helped out college wrestling and international wrestling. And the Buckeyes are lucky because there's just extra partners. Our team's already good, and then you add in these RTC guys who are just helping in so many ways, whether it's wrestling or helping them prepare, or just helping them, with their mind, with their mindset. So it's it's awesome. It's
who's been the biggest surprise for you so far this season? I mean, a guy that's jumped out that at the beginning of the year you thought, okay, he's going to be he's going to be a role guy. He's going to be, can we get him to nationals? Can he be a 2-2 guy at nationals? But now you're looking at it as, can he be a guy who can get to the podium? Or, I mean, just a guy who we expected to be a 500 guy, and now we can see him like maybe making nationals and winning a couple matches.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, we've had a lot of good jumps. I mean, I think we've mentioned his name already a couple times, but Caleb, I think that he's always had it, and two-sport star athlete in high school, and he had a tough year last year. He wasn't competing like he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like he wasn't able to make that jump from, I mean, and you're going to know more about this than me, but he was always in on shots but never was finishing shots. And now it's that he's made that little bit of a leap and little bit of a jump to where now he's making those transitions. Now he's finishing. Now he's scoring, where before it was just he was getting stuck and just. I mean, what causes guys to get in that, and how do they break out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think confidence is key, and just believing in what you're doing. And I think that he was a little bit low on confidence. And then when your confidence is shot, maybe you start to believe less. So I don't know all the insights of his mind, but I know that.
I mean, that's a huge thing. Even like in football, I mean, guys come in and they're stars.
Yeah.
I mean, and all of a sudden, like for Caleb, I mean, now you're wrestling Bo Jordan every day, and you're probably getting your butt kicked.
Yeah.
And that's hard on your confidence. Like when you come in football and you were the star of your high school, and all of a sudden you're getting beat up and every day, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Right.
I mean, that's a big mental process, and how does Tom Ryan and the coaching staff try to kind of get guys through that? Because it's got to happen to almost everybody.
Yeah. Well, we have a saying here in Tervel. Tervel got it from somewhere or made it up, but it's
he's gonna be mad you didn't credit him with inventing it. Come on.
Yeah, it's trust comes before progress. So you can't just come up to your coach and be like, hey, make me good.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Teach me how to be a national champion. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, so I think these guys are just trusting more, and it's they're going all in on it, and it's hard to do because again, like you've had so much success, you know what to do, you know how to cut weight, I know how to finish a double leg, stuff like that. But sometimes things get tough, and you get in a little rut, and these guys are believing it, and Caleb's one of the guys, and the way he practices now is just different.
Yeah.
Way more intensity, more intent in what he's doing, and the whole team's kind of done that with Ethan and Sammy and Eli and Luke. It's Colin. It's been the room has elevated so much. It's when I was in school, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So it was the room is awesome right now. It's fun to just be a part of it. And just watching, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and we talk about kind of the exodus of the great guys like the Miles and the Bo and the Nate and yourself, but I mean the cupboard's not necessarily bare. I mean, you got Luke Pletcher ranked number one, who's a multiple-time All-American.
Yeah.
Colin has been on that precipice of always being right there for a national title and just kind of falling short.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about what those guys and kind of their legacy and what they're trying to do. I mean, you've been there your senior year. I mean, you were trying to do something that not very many people have ever done before, but these guys are trying to make that last little step, kind of like Joey McKenna was trying to do last year. How much preparation, how much pressure goes into that for those guys? Yeah,
I mean, I think that there is pressure, but these guys are every day they're working with intent. Just if you watch Luke practice, and this is something that I think I don't know other sports how it works, but in wrestling, if you can wrestle like you practice, for the most part, you're going to be a star.
Yeah.
It's hard to have the freedom that you do in practice in a match. And Luke is wrestling in matches like he does in practice.
Yeah, because that was kind of the knock on him for a long time. Like he's winning 4-3 matches.
Yeah.
He's winning 3-2 matches when he has the firepower to open up and score a lot, but he just wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
And now it seems like he's tech falling guys, which remember last year, like I think the first time he tech falled someone, everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
Who's that? How did that happen? He didn't score that many points in 5 matches last year.
Yeah, so they're working hard, and they all have a good perspective. I think that they've seen enough wins and losses to know that they're training like crazy, and the number one thing on their mind is to win and compete well. But if it doesn't happen, they know that it isn't the end of the world, and what they're doing now, they're putting all the effort in.
Yeah.
So you can rest a little bit easier if you do everything right, and whatever happens.
And I mean, and kind of on the flip side of that, when you look at Colin Warner and his style, he's a guy who I think from the time he stepped on the mat wrestled not just like a lighter weight being at 197, but I mean he would take shot after shot. I mean he wrestled like he was wrestling in practice, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And sometimes it got him in trouble. I mean sometimes it cost him matches. To see him kind of dial that back a little bit. And I don't want to say make him more conservative, but make him more calculating maybe is what it seems like this year.
Yeah.
Seems like he's picking the chances instead of just, I'm going to take 15 shots this period and I'm going to score on 4 of them. I think it seems like from an outside-in perspective, he's really calculating more.
Yeah, he's taking better attempts. So, you always want the guy who can shoot 100 times. That'll win whatever the percentage is, 95, whatever. That'll always win more than the guy who doesn't do anything. So I think with Collins, it's just doing a better job of picking the right shots. And but he shoots like crazy in practice, which is important because if he misses 10 times, 15 times in a match, he should feel that he's in good enough shape.
I mean, even in the national title match, I mean, not many people will take Bo Nickel down, and he was able to do it twice and just not able to do it enough. But I mean, those guys, it just seems like, everyone was at the beginning of the season looking like, and we have 2 guys right there that are still in there, and a bunch of guys that are, like you said, progressing. Let's get into the match tomorrow night, which is, I mean, this is going to be a big one where, it's interesting in so many ways because, for so long, I mean, I think anyone who isn't well versed in college wrestling, knows Iowa.
Right.
Knows Iowa is the best team. Knows I mean, I think I've talked to people before like, wait, Iowa's not the best team? Like, no, Iowa's not even been on the platform in the top 5 like it's been Penn State, Ohio State. But now they've built a team that is probably they're the favorite probably for the national title this year. Mm-hmm. Tough place to wrestle, Carver Hawkeye to go in there. I mean, the Buckeyes are going to have their hands full. Just talk, first of all, I mean, you've been there, you've done it, like the atmosphere going in there as an opponent and trying to pull off just an individual win, let alone a team win.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. There'll be probably 15,000 fans in there, and if you take a step back or go out of bounds, you're going to get called for stalling. The fans will yell it. Yeah. They'll cheer for it, and the refs will be influenced.
There's a guy, the statue outside of Dan Gable with the stalling call. So I mean.
So, what I've been telling the guys just in passing is just be ready to fight. Don't go out of bounds, and wrestle hard. And the Iowa fans, as crazy as they are, and as they must say love the Hawkeyes, they respect hard wrestling.
Yeah.
So, you can win the crowd. I mean, they're going to cheer against you, but you can after the match, if they're like, you know what, Luke's pretty tough.
Yeah.
He wrestles hard. So I think that's the goal. If you can make them afterwards say, you know what, these guys wrestle hard.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know what's going to happen in the duel. And I think they're favored a lot. But there are some swing matches that I'm sure we'll talk about here that.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think it's surprising. Not anyone, people did, but not a lot of people gave Ohio State the chance against Arizona State. They thought once they got up in that top part of the lineup, bonus points were going to start to roll in, and Ohio State kind of did their job. So, yeah, let's start at 125, which, you got the two-time national champ, number one guy in the country. A lot of people thought that wasn't going to be there, that was going to probably take an Olympic red shirt and try to make the Olympic team this year. But Spencer Lee is back. Last year he had that year coming off the national championship where guys were saying he's never going to lose again.
Yeah.
And then, how
That's
hard it is.
That's the funny thing about sports. Yeah.
So. You know how hard it is to never lose again. But, took a couple losses, but able to come back, put it together for the national tournament, win his second national title. Malik has been a guy who a lot of people look at as still that waiting for him to kind of grow into that 125-pound body.
Yeah.
He's going to have a tough task. What does Malik have to do to try to get the team, going a little bit? I mean, obviously beating Spencer Lee is the pie in the sky.
Yeah.
Can we do that? But what does Malik have to do, if the match starts at 125?
Yeah, I think he's got to, start strong defensively. Spencer comes out hot, he gets the first takedown quick, and then he goes right to a turn. So if he can limit that, then I think he can wrestle a hard match. But Spencer Lee wrestles hard.
Yeah.
And he wants to score, 20 points. So Malik's got to be ready to wrestle. And Malik, you haven't seen what I think, the best version or even close to the best version of Malik. So I think Malik can fight, but it's going to be a tough match. Spencer Lee is probably the best wrestler in the country.
You're looking for him to just try to mitigate bonus points in that spot.
Yeah, you're just looking for Malik to wrestle hard.
Yeah.
And fight hard on bottom. And, who knows? People get taken down. People have tough matches all the time. So if you're ready to fight, nobody wants a hard, drawn-out fight. Number one guy, number 30th guy.
Yeah.
So give him a hard fight and see what happens.
So this next one I think is going to be entertaining. Austin DeSanto, probably one of the personalities in wrestling right now.
He is.
He's an interesting character. Does some dumb things on the mat sometimes. He's one of those guys that rubs people the wrong way. So he's one of those Iowa guys where you either love him or hate him.
Yeah.
He's that personality. Jordan Decatur, highly sought after recruit coming in here. He's had some good matches, just not a lot of mat time or experience for him, especially kind of at this level. What does he have to do? Because this match, I think, when I look at it from outside in, this is one where I think that we could surprise some people at.
Yeah, I think so. But Jordan's got to stay in the middle. I mean, DeSanto, if he doesn't get his attacks, he's going to push, look for the stalling calls. He'll probably call his own stalling calls.
Yeah.
So this is a match where if Jordan isn't ready to fight, isn't ready to stand in the middle, and hand fight hard, then it could get ugly.
Yeah.
But on the other end, I think Jordan.
Stylistically, though, this is an interesting matchup.
Interesting matchup, yeah. So I think if Jordan can stay in the middle and wrestle hard and wrestle through all positions, because DeSanto, as crazy as he is, and love him or hate him, he wrestles hard.
Yeah, he does.
And he's a good wrestler. So just getting, bringing the fight back.
Well, I mean, I think that we saw that with Luke when Luke wrestled him in the quarters last year.
Yeah.
He's one. Austin DeSanto seems to be a guy where if he can't impose his will, that almost breaks his spirit a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely not. Definitely not inhuman or anything. I mean, he can. He put his head down. He put his head down last week. It's not nothing crazy. And fatigue or if your moves aren't working, that's always enough to break a man.
Yeah.
So always. So I'm very excited for the opportunity for Jordan. It's a very, very hostile environment, and probably against their most popular guy. So, it's gonna be it's a good chance for him.
Let's look at 141. Big matchup here. 1 versus 3. Luke Pletcher just got his 100th win.
Yeah.
Has been. We've talked about him already. Just kind of the style and what he's done and how he's progressed this year. Max Murin, he's got 1 loss on the year. Just talk about this one. I mean, how does Luke approach this? Because, again, this is going to be one where the Iowa fans are going to try to even that matchup just by getting Max going a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always very confident in Luke. Especially this last year. I mean, Luke has been wrestling very hard, and he seems to be wrestling pretty fearless. So he just has to keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Max Murin is tough. A tough wrestler in a tough environment. But Luke's got to stay on his offense. And what he did a good job of last week was scoring at the end of periods.
Yeah.
So that stuff will save just in case you do start to get a little bit juiced and you start to give up a couple weird calls, bad calls. Score at the end of the period, ride them out. Be up 4-1. Score at the end of the second period, something like that. Just to get the extra point and. I think it'd be okay. So strong, focused, and yeah.
So this one is a matchup last year that Sammy Sazon in a red shirt actually beat Lugo.
Yes.
Now Lugo's the number 1 guy. Sammy's 6. I'm sure Pat's going to remember that match from last year and not be too happy about it. But talk about just before you kind of get into the stylistic matchup, just how Sammy has progressed, because I think everyone expected him to be kind of the next Logan, Nate, Bo, that's going to just burst onto the scene, dominate guys right off the bat. It's hard to dominate anyone in college wrestling. So I think, fans have kind of tempered that back a little bit. But, just talk about how he's progressed his first season kind of in the lineup. Yeah,
I mean, he's done a good job. I mean, his conditioning's been built up. He's getting his weight under control. He's had an awesome week of wrestling. Had an awesome week last week. He wrestled better last week. So, just getting, for him, it's just getting his offense. Get his offense going. His defense has always been good. Good on top. Can escape on the bottom. So just getting his offense. So I think if he can get to his offense tomorrow night, he can be successful. But Lugo's tough.
Yeah.
But it's good that he wrestled him before. He gets a feel. Know what he can do, and I always feel confident for our guys. If they've wrestled him before, we can make adjustments.
And it's not like, I mean, when Lugo wrestled him last year, like that he would take in Sammy Sazon. I mean, Sammy was the number 1 recruit in the country.
Sammy was good. It
wasn't like, I'm just taking this kid. I mean, he knew who Sammy Sazon was last year, so it isn't going to be one of those scenarios where he thought like, now I'm going to be prepared.
Yeah.
He was prepared last time they wrestled too.
Yeah.
Going to 157 again, this is kind of one of those matchups. You've got Caleb Young, who is only a redshirt junior. I feel like he's been there forever.
Yeah, he looks like it.
He's like one of those guys that's like 40 years old who's still on the team there. Elijah Cleary for the Buckeyes. Again, this is a tough matchup for Ohio State. Talk about what they've got to do or what Elijah's got to do to try to kind of stay in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Eli's got to stay in the hand fight and just wrestle strong defensively. I mean, Caleb Young is and maybe I need to watch more of him, but he's extremely tough wrestler. Grinds out a lot of wins, doesn't score a crazy amount of points.
Yeah, I mean he's a 4-5 guy.
Maybe he'll make me look bad tomorrow. Who knows? But he's someone who grinds out and usually always wins a close one. So for Eli that's good because Eli can wrestle a close match. He's pretty good defensively and he's in great shape. So I think him keep winning the hand fight and keep getting his attacks on. You saw it a little bit more last week, and I think. Again, he's someone who, if you saw in the room, you saw at matches, you would be, totally different person.
Yeah.
So for him getting to wrestle like he is in the room, just another opportunity tomorrow to do that. So I think this is, I feel okay about this one. I mean, Eli has gotten tougher, and like I said, Caleb doesn't seem like he's scoring a bunch of points.
Yeah,
in
he's
matches.
not a guy like you're going up like a Nulf where you're like, oh my God, I'm just trying not to get pinned. Or
right.
He's not going to do that to you. 165 I find interesting too because Ethan Smith has progressed. Stylistically, I feel like he's an interesting matchup for anybody.
Yeah.
Alex Marinelli, it's funny, I coached Alex in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great kid. I mean, he's a typical Iowa wrestler who he's going to come in, he's going to hit his head inside single, he's going to do those basic things that he does, but he executes them very, very well at a high level. But Ethan is a hard guy to score on. He's got great defense. He can get in on shots. He can finish shots. I think this is again one that if people aren't ready, this could be a good one for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ethan, his main thing is he has to be able to finish a shot. I mean, he does a good job of getting in, and the close matches he's lost this year is because he didn't finish.
Yeah.
So if he can finish every attack that he's on, and I know Alex will not let him get in on many attacks. So whether it's 1 or 2 or 3, he needs to finish every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, be ready for the hand fight.
Yeah.
We know Alex has the post single leg or the guy's taking it away, post high C or double leg. So if he can take that away and then just finish his attacks, I think he can have a chance.
Another Iowa guy who seems like he's been there forever. I think he's been. What did he start? I think he started like 141, didn't he?
49 maybe.
Yeah.
I maybe his redshirt year. But he wrestled 57 last year.
Yeah.
Or last 2 years, maybe.
So Kemmerer has been around forever. He's wrestled, I feel like, half the Ohio State lineup moving up and down the thing.
Yeah.
And the guy that we talked about, Caleb Romero, who, has made big strides this year. Kemmerer's ranked 3, but he's a guy. It doesn't seem like he scores a lot of points. He's not teching guys. He's not, a major decision kind of guy. He wins those close, hard-fought matches a lot of times.
Yeah, he's been winning a few lately, and I think Caleb is trending up. So this is a great match for Caleb. This is a great opportunity that he can, beat somebody who's ranked above him. He lost a couple close ones in Vegas to guys who are just ranked above him a little bit. But this will be tough. I mean, Kemmerer he's a good finisher.
Yeah.
So when he gets in, he's a good finisher. So Caleb's just the hand fight's important. And just the focus of 7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, and focusing 7 minutes in that environment where you've never been before, that's going to be tough for him. So when Rocky first made this move up to 184, it reminded me a lot of when his brother, Micah Jordan, went up to 57 for a year and just couldn't find his way for the first part of the season. Really struggled with how the weight affected him, the strength the guys affected him. He looked out of place, and I've seen Mickey wrestle since he was 4 years old. So, just to see kind of that struggle, it really seems to me though Rocky has adapted much faster to bumping up a weight. That he is the first match was kind of a struggle, but this weekend, he wrestled great and looked really comfortable at the weight, which I think was encouraging for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Rocky, it's just more mat time. He was out all last year, so just being able to be out there in more mat time, and because we all know he's a good wrestler. He's great in high school, so he got great attacks, good on top, can escape on the bottom. So just more mat time. So I'm excited for him. I think that 84 is a good weight for him. And you know how it is. If you can wrestle like a lightweight, or you used to wrestle as a lightweight, and you keep going up,
absolutely,
you have more success. You just have more moves.
Yeah, and then Assad is he's a freshman, so it's not like he's going up against an experienced guy here.
Yeah.
I mean, Assad's a freshman, and he's going to be in a big match, and he's been pressed a couple times this year. I think he's 18-3 on the year. So he hasn't.
So he just had a good win, I think, last week, or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, he's tough. I mean, but again, he's a freshman. This is something where, hey, let's this guy's your age, a little bit younger, go wrestle him.
Yeah. 97, one of the few matches Ohio State's favored at. Again, Colin Moore, number 1. Warner's number 4. Colin has looked like a man on a mission this year.
Yeah.
I think the only matches he's really struggled with were
against the
Arizona State guy, which is just a stylistic matchup
Yeah.
that's tough for him. But other than that, Colin has looked like he is on a mission this year.
Yeah, he's wrestling well. I think Warner, who is real defensive, is just going to try to keep knee sprawling and keep, hopefully Colin shoots himself out. So for Colin, just going to be picking the right shots and choosing the right attacks. And again, ending on top. I can't preach it enough. If you can end the period on top, you're saving yourself a takedown.
Well, it's funny because so much was made, going back to football a little bit, of, they talked a lot about in the Clemson game and in the Kansas City game of how those coaches strategize about those middle 4 minutes before halftime and right after halftime.
Yeah.
It's the same in wrestling.
Yeah.
It's those last 20 seconds of a period every time. That's where you look to score, so you don't give up that escape point, or you can ride out, and it's just a bonus for you.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating as fans when you see a guy, let a guy out with like 3 seconds left on the clock, and obviously everyone knows you're not really just trying to let him out. But but again, talk about like how much do you focus guys on that? How hard is it, I guess, to be mad aware of the time and everything that's happening there when you're out on the mat and you're competing?
Yeah, it's not too hard unless you're out on your feet, tired. It's not too hard to concentrate on the time. There's scoreboards everywhere. There's the coaches are yelling, 15, 20, whatever. So it's not too hard. The hard part is obviously doing it.
Yeah.
Holding the guy down because he knows the same thing. He knows he gets away, he has a chance.
Yeah.
So just the focus of riding and lifting, returning, and attacking. The second period, we see it too many times. End of the second period, nobody scores, and then you lost by a takedown in the third. You only got one, and you needed 2. Well, if you got one in the second, you only needed 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just a strong focus, and then just have the coaches will say stuff.
So Ohio State's probably, not best wrestler, but most popular wrestler right now. Gas Tank Gary, who, I think he had some matches last year. Yeah. Came in this year, injury to Chase Singletary, where now he's out for the year, has kind of thrust Gary into the limelight. It's funny. He's a guy the fans love to watch, which is very rare for heavyweights. But he's not the most impressive guy that comes out and scores points, but he fights and competes constantly. And I think that's what fans appreciate.
Yeah, I think the fans, you can appreciate somebody who you see a little bit of yourself in, whether it's maybe not being the star recruit, or maybe not having success right away, or maybe nobody knowing your name. But Gary works hard. He's always been a good partner, and he has a chance now, and he's starting to believe what people are saying about him.
Yeah.
You can become, this guy who has this incredible gas tank. Gary's always worked hard, and maybe he always had a good gas tank. We just never had a chance to see it.
He was just never in matches.
But when people start yelling gas tank Gary, and people are talking about it, it's kind of funny. And
they got shirts now too.
Yeah,
they get the whole thing.
But it's something where he can't get tired. He's got to be able to go the whole time, and just his energy and he's so happy to be there. He's so grateful, and the guys see it in the room, and now the fans are seeing it. It's a pretty cool phenomenon. He's done a really, really good job for the Buckeyes.
And now he's beating ranked wrestlers now.
Yeah.
I think he's up to number 23.
Yeah.
He's got a tough one. He's got a redshirt freshman who hasn't lost a match yet, who's ranked number 3. But again, I think that heavyweight anything can happen to.
Yeah.
And Gary is a guy who, if it's a 3-2 match in the third,
you're feeling good about it.
You feel really good about it. You feel like, okay, he's going to get a point somehow, and he's going to get this into overtime and somehow sneak out a takedown. His offensive repertoire that we've seen is not extensive, but he can make it work for him. And those guys, again, when we talk about how this team is built, and you go from the the 5 to 7 superstars that you're thinking like, okay, we're going to have 4 or 5 finalists and this every year to just, all right, we need guys that are just going to win 2 matches. Are we going to win here, or just not get majored against the number one guy? I mean, this team has a lot of those guys on them that are built that are actually doing what's asked of them, and that's a big thing. And so looking at this match overall, what does Ohio State have to do to try to pull off the upset? I mean, is it bonus points? Is it stealing matches? Is it just a combination of everything of what they've got to pull off?
It's going to be stealing matches, a combination. It's going to be stealing matches, and then if we have a chance for bonus points anywhere, we have to get them.
Yeah.
Maybe if Luke gets going early, and he's up by 5 going in the third, he needs to push for 8. Same with Colin, and then some of these toss-up matches, or I guess maybe through looking through Buckeye lens.
Yeah,
right?
like
toss-up
stylistic matches that we're kind of seeing.
And that's a match like Caleb, Rocky, and then take another one.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be tough. They are. I think they've proven to be the best team in the country, but we have a good team, and our guys have been working hard. So, the Buckeye homer in me believes that we can do it and we can fight hard. But I just hope that the guys are ready to go with the crowd and the people there, and stay in the middle. Stay in the middle of the mat and wrestle hard. If they can do that, then I think we can be happy at the end of the night.
So just talk again a little bit about where guys are at this point in the season. I mean, this is our first show. We're going to go with you through the NCAAs and recap the NCAAs at the end of March. But the wrestling season is interesting. It kind of breaks down into little segments.
Yeah.
So what are guys focused on right now in the season, knowing that in February you're going to have the Big Tens, you're going to have and where you need to be right now as opposed to where you need to be in March.
Yeah, so right now it's just getting that good 1 to 2 hard practices a week, and just kind of cleaning up the areas where you're having trouble. I mean, we're gonna have a 3-week break after I think Northwestern duel before Big Tens, where we'll really work on getting that conditioning at the super high level and fixing some small things. But right now it's Friday, Sunday. So just getting your weight under control. I mean, January is a great month to get the weight under control.
Yeah.
Maybe you're heavy all year. Maybe come after Christmas, you're a little bit too heavy. Everyone's kind of struggling, and then we have all these dual meets. I think they had 6 dual meets in 17 days.
Yeah.
So it's a great time to get your weight down and be ready to fight hard. And then once we get through the Big Ten season, they have a couple of days to relax, get their bodies feeling good again, and then one more hard push. So it's a tough time for the guys.
Yeah, this seems kind of like the grind part of the season where there's not a lot of fanfare or accolade. I mean, like the Big Ten. When you get in the tournaments are exciting.
Tournaments are fun. Yeah,
it's a fun, exciting, and this seems like the grind portion of the season.
Yeah, this is a grind. I mean, they wrestled on last Friday, Sunday, and then they had Monday off.
Friday, Sunday. I think this.
Yeah,
this
Monday off.
Yeah.
Easier day Tuesday, tough day yesterday, tough day today. And then they travel today, and then they travel again on Saturday to Minnesota, and they travel again on Monday back home.
Yeah.
And then they have a dual meet on Friday.
It's private jets too, right? You guys fly on the private jets back and forth.
I don't think so.
They don't charter planes for you guys like they do the football team. No?
I think they got a charter one year, but it was after I graduated. It was they had a charter, I think, which is pretty cool. But I didn't get to experience it.
Well, as the podcast progresses, we'll get some stories from your traveling days of what it was like on the buses and the small planes and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, this has been fun, and look forward to doing it all year here. We appreciate the guys at Lettermen Row for giving us a home.
Yeah.
Appreciate the guys at Financial Providence Group for sponsoring this, and the Lee Kemp movie, Wrestled Away, is also one of the sponsors. So
awesome.
You can find that on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon. It's a great story. Lee Kemp, an Ohio guy from the Cleveland area, really an incredible story of just how he, three-time national champ, best wrestler in the world, boycott the 80 Olympics, and how, something like that can really, really kind of get a guy down. But, he's persevered and come back. So, I mean, we're proud to have them as a sponsor as well. So we will be back next week. We'll break down this and the Minnesota match a little bit and look forward to the next ones for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
All right, man. This is the Win the Third podcast here on Lettermen Row.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got Buckeye Q with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.